KRUZ Coast Athletic League. Athletes, parents, coaches, and friends. Welcome to the 7th annual TCI Cablevision Sports Awards presentation. This year brought to you from the beautiful Coconut Grove on the beach in Santa Cruz and co-sponsored in part by the Seaside Company. And now, here's tonight's co-host, the voice of the game of the week, Jeff Conley.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. And hello again, everyone. It's great to see you all here. So many of you who have entertained us so much during your high school sports years. Tonight, at the 7th Annual TCI Cablevision Sports Awards, we salute you. And hopefully we'll entertain you a little along the way. And to any of you in our viewing audience who are surfing the channels tonight, you can stop right here because the big waves are breaking here. My co-host began his television career as a news cameraman. It wasn't long before he was turned off by the heavy dose of human tragedy that he was exposed to. He realized that what he really wanted to do with his training in journalism was to view the high side of life. Achievements, not failures. He was drawn to sports reporting, and along a twisting path, which included work as an ESPN cameraman, he arrived in Santa Cruz. To make a difference was his primary goal, and soon he became the well-known host of Sportsline and an omnipresent observer of local sports. And he has made a difference. A very positive difference in the way the achievements of youth in sports are perceived and presented. Awardees and special guests of the Sports Awards, Rusty Reed.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all for coming here tonight, accepting our invitation to the Sports Awards program. It'll probably be a couple weeks, maybe at the end of the summer, where all you awardees will be off on that great journey of adult life. But in the last few years, our cameras have watched you at play, readying yourselves for such a journey. So tonight we'd like to reflect on those high school years in sports and have you pause with us and just take a moment or two to enjoy what you've done. And then after that, come on up here, take a moment or a few, and speak and tell us who it is and what it is that's important to you. I would like to, before we get things underway, explain just how difficult the selection process is, a process which inevitably leaves a fine athlete off of our list, a deserving athlete. At the beginning of the year, needless to say, every athlete in every sport is eligible for the Sports Awards. And we have a very large committee, and that committee watches all the seniors all year long. And at the end of the year, we review our notes, we review a lot of video, and then the most important aspect of it is we consult the coaches rather intensively, as any coach in here or who's not here will tell you. We've run their phone off the hook. And after consulting with the coaches, it's at that point that we finally make our final selections. Every year it's very difficult to do such a process. This year, I seem to say it every year, but this was indeed the toughest year to do this process. It's actually heart-wrenching sometimes. In the end, as it turns out, there are 87 of you here tonight to be honored. Everyone deserves it. So, with that in mind, let's get the show rolling and roll our opening video.
Like a lose control tonight. My love is sweet, now bring me to my knees. Oh, please, let it roll tonight.
So how do you like yourselves so far, huh? That video was created by the genius and effort of a man who has been following you all of your high school sports years through the lens of his camera, Channel 3 camera, and he's doing the same tonight. He's out there on camera 3, Damon Meyer. Right there. Thank you.
Touche, Damon. Keep that spotlight on him a while. Damon's the culprit who came up with that video last year, the unauthorized video. So once again, a great job, Damon.
We begin our awards with those for the fall season, but our first recipients know no set season. A high school competition takes place in the fall and the spring, but to compete in these events, participants must remain dedicated all year long. So let's get on to the pool now, where we can usually find our winners for swimming and diving.
One of the best swimmers of her age in Costa Rica, Carolina Badia, came to Harbor High and immediately joined the elite of the SCCAL. League champion of the 100 butterfly, Carolina set a new school record while winning the title in a second event, the 50 freestyle. At CCS, she reached the consolation finals in both the 50 free and 100 butterfly. Jane Kelsey of Aptos High, the best swimmer on the best team in the county. The SCCAL's master of the 200 and 500 freestyle races, Jane took league in both her sophomore, junior, and senior years. She also qualified for CCS in the two events all 4 years of her high school career. Jane plans to continue her swimming prowess at Stanford next fall. Brad Wheeler of Harbor High, one of the league's top sprinters. On the varsity league champs for 4 years, Brad was among the league's finest in the 50 and 100 freestyles and contributed to or anchored 2 relay teams that won SCCAL titles both his junior and senior years. Brad joins the Ivy League in the fall. Zach Thompson, the mainstay of the Santa Cruz varsity swim team for 4 years. Zach could go the distances, the 200 and 500 freestyles, was the league's runner-up in the 200 individual medley, and the SCCAL champion of the 100 breaststroke. In the fall, it's off to Cal Berkeley for Mr. Versatility, Zach Thompson. Damian Corte of Santa Cruz High, battling here for second place in lane 4, is one of the few top swimmers in the league who isn't involved in the sport year-round. A natural in the pool, Damian specialized in the 200 and 500 freestyles, finishing second in both at the league championships. Damian will join the Cabrillo swim and water polo teams next year. The stack of gold medals is piled high at the house of Danny Arbalez. Out of Harbor High, Danny won the SCCAL titles in both the 100 and 200 freestyle races as a junior, then repeated the double this season. For 2 years, a member of 2 SCCAL champion relay teams as well, Danny will have a lot of hardware to pack as he heads for college back east in the fall. From Santa Cruz High, it's diver Rob Holmberg, a third-place finisher in the SCCAL this year. Rob qualified for a trip to the CCS meet for the 3rd year in a row and hit his stride, surprising the field to come home the top finisher from the SCCAL. A competitor in the 500 freestyle as well, Rob will continue to dive and play water polo at Cabrillo next year.
Our first award, Danny Arbalez of Harbor.
Okay, I'd like to thank my 2 coaches, first of all, Jack Dufour and especially Jim Triplett, who I worked with for about 4 years now. I owe a lot to him for always making me go to practice during the summer and all those times that I didn't want to go. And TCI Cablevision for this award, and especially, most of all, my parents, because without them, I wouldn't be here, because, I mean, they always made me go to practice, and without them, I wouldn't have been as dedicated. Thanks.
Carolina Badia of Harbor.
First of all, I would like to thank everybody involved that helped me get this award. I also want to thank my teammates and my coaches, which are Phil Green and Jim Triplett. And I would like to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Rob Holmberg of Santa Cruz.
I'd like to thank both my coaches this year, and for my first year, Stacy Foster and Maureen. They helped me a lot, making me go to practice. Even when I showed up late, always making me get in the pool. And I'd like to thank Mike Bennett for helping me with the 500 this year, too. Thanks.
Jane Kelsey of Aptos.
I would like to thank my parents who have always been there for me and motivated me. And I would really especially like to thank my coach, Jim Triplett, who's been a friend and a great motivator for the past 11 years. Thank you.
Damian Corte of Santa Cruz.
I'd just like to thank my parents for always coming to all my meets and showing a lot of support. I'd like to thank my coach, Mike Bennett, for doing such a great job, and all my teammates for somehow getting me to shave my head, and for a great season. Thanks.
Zach Thompson of Santa Cruz.
All right, I'd like to thank my two coaches, Mike Bennett and Jim Triplett. And I'd especially like to thank my mom, who's been driving me to work out once or twice a day for the last 10 years. And TCI Cablevision for a very nice evening. Thanks.
And Brad Wheeler of Harbor.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my two coaches also, Jack Dufour and Jim Triplett, and especially my family, my brother for getting me up at 5 in the morning to go to those early morning practices when I didn't want to, and for my mother for getting up there and cooking me some breakfast before. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's another exciting football season. We had San Lorenzo Valley, North Monterey County sharing the league title. And of course, a great many football players each and every year. So the honorees tonight survived a pretty intense selection process. So let's look now at those that made the cut.
Landon Wells, number 82 of San Lorenzo Valley, possesses the greatest hands this side of a high-stakes poker table. Landon's superior speed and leaping ability enabled him to pull down a league-leading 47 receptions on the year, covering over 700 yards. With 8 touchdowns to his credit, Landon truly upheld the long-standing tradition of fine receivers to come out of the Valley. Matt Herringer, number 44 of Aptos, learned what it took to become a champion his junior year when the Mariners reached the CCS Finals. As a senior, he became the team leader in every way, offensively leading Aptos in scoring and rumbling for nearly 500 yards as a fullback. Defensively, he was the team's leading tackler and earned first-team All-SCCAL recognition at inside linebacker. Matt Herringer, the Rock of the Aptos Mariners. When you play middle linebacker like number 50, Ty Locatelli did, for the league's number 1 defense, it's no surprise that this San Lorenzo Valley Cougar was named the SCCAL's Defensive Player of the Year. A product of his own tenacity, Ty never let up until he could be the best he could possibly be. And that desire has earned him a full-ride scholarship to play football at the University of Pacific. Ty Locatelli. Stacy, the Magician Morimoto of Watsonville High, earned first-team All-League honors his junior year as a wide receiver. As a senior, he was converted to quarterback, a position he'd never played before, then pulled the trick of the year by passing for over 1,000 yards. The team's most valuable player, he was also named first-team SCCAL defensive back. Next fall, Stacy will return to the wide receiver slot when he walks on at San Jose State. Matt Ritchie, number 76, the quiet giant of SLV. The pillar of the interior line on both sides of the ball for 2 years, Matt was one of only 2 players in the league to make first-team SCCAL both offensively and defensively. One of the biggest athletes to ever come through the Cougar program, Matt handled the pressure to produce with ease. The run was the name of the game at Santa Cruz High, and no one covered more ground for the Cardinals than Neil Churchill, number 22. Out of the fly offense, Neil scampered for over 700 yards both his junior and senior seasons. a receiving threat out of the backfield as well. Neil will be running and catching at Cabrillo next fall. It may have been hard to tell that Mike Griever, number 55, is one of the best outside linebackers San Lorenzo Valley has ever had, because opposing teams would make it a point to run to the other side of Griever's ground. Yet this two-year starter and first-team All-Leaguer played a huge role in a defense that was number one against the run. Mike will join the Sonoma State football program in the fall. Don't blink as North Monterey County's Nando Nera, number 33, dashes across the field. Injured as a junior, Nando burst onto the scene from obscurity his senior year to lead the SCCAL in rushing with 828 yards. A first-team All-SCCAL selection, Nando's combination of speed and slashing running style enabled him to slither through defenses to the tune of 6 yards a carry. He also ran for a league-leading 13 touchdowns and scored another through the air. Nando Nera of North Monterey County. Shane Sutcliffe, number 42, was the workhorse of the co-league champion San Lorenzo Valley Cougars and was rewarded handsomely, earning first-team All-League honors at running back and second-team defense at outside linebacker. A natural yet unassuming leader from the beginning, Shane was a model to his peers, who voted him this year as the Cougars' most valuable player. This versatile athlete's off to Sonoma State in the fall to play baseball. Mike James, number 13 of North Monterey County, did it all for the Condors, running and catching on offense, tackling and intercepting on defense. A first-team All-League selection as a wide receiver and defensive back, this Condor poured everything he had onto the gridiron, whether it was game time or practice. A true winner in every phase of the game. And plenty took notice as he was voted the SCCAL's most valuable player. Condor Mike James. Come on up, guys.
We certainly know there's a lot of Condors here tonight. I can hear those North Monterey County people all the time. The rest of you could pick up the pace just a bit, maybe. They came the furthest way, and they're making us know all about it here. First award, football, Neil Churchill, Santa Cruz.
Alright, I've been thinking all night of what to say, and I still don't know what to say. So I just want to thank my coaches, Coach Mihiron, Coach Ronnie, Coach Miguel, and there's a lot of other coaches that made me dedicated to from football camp and from my JV years, and I'd like to thank my mother, and I'd also like to thank Brian Wall for just keeping me in shape and keeping me together with myself and in the program of school and keeping my grades up. Thanks.
Sounded good to us. Mike Griever of SLV.
I'd like to thank my mom and my dad, all my friends, their families, all the coaches, and TCI. Thanks.
Matt Herringer of Aptos.
Thank you. I just want to thank my coaches. They helped me out a lot during the season, keeping me going and stuff when times were tough. My mom for giving birth to me. My dad keeping me going. My friends, family and stuff. Thanks.
Mike James of North Monterey County. Let's try for Ty Locatelli of SLV.
Work away.
Start off by thanking my parents, my mom for cooking me all the food that I needed to eat, and my dad for coaching me through Pop Warner in high school, and the coaches I've had, Steve Griever, and all of the other coaches I've had, like Coach Morris and Coach Logan, and all the other varsity coaches I missed. I'd like to thank all my friends, teammates, friends' families, and my trainer, Perry Cardoza, and TCI Cablevision. Thanks.
So I thought, we had the boisterous North Monterey County crowd. I thought that was all Mike James' friends and family. It turns out, wrong again.
Nice he's hiding back there and didn't want to expose himself to that group.
New haircut?
Stacy Morimoto of Watsonville.
I'd like to start off by saying thanks to my coaching staff at Watsonville, especially Coach John McGushin, who helped me a lot with my quarterbacking since it wasn't one of my skills. I'd like to thank all my friends back at home, Chris, Jason, Andy, Muffy, just everybody, my little brother Scott, little Jenny. And I'd like to thank my mom for her patience with my big mouth, and my dad for his wallet for putting me through my camps and stuff. Thanks a lot.
Nando Nira of North Monterey County.
I'd like to thank all my coaches, well, especially just one, Roger Sugimoto, and I'd like to thank my family and my friends especially. Thank you.
Matt Ritchie of SLV.
I'd just like to thank my parents and my teammates and my coaches, Coach Morris and Coach Locatelli. Thanks.
Shane Sutcliffe of SLV.
Alright, I just want to thank my family and my friends and their families that fed me over the times and had slumber parties and stuff. And I want to thank my coaches, Coach Morris and Christensen, for having us work hard and making it fun at the same time. And my just all my friends and TCI, and that's about it.
Good enough. Well, there's a lot of Cougars up here tonight. Landon Wells from SLV.
Well, I'd like to thank my parents and my coaches, Coach Morris, Coach Walters. They helped me a lot, kept me going through practices. And my best friends for staying with me, Jeremy Bowers, Todd Isles, Alex Romero. Thanks.
Our next awardees are among the most fortunate of high school athletes, for they have mastered a game that they can play throughout their lives for health and fun. That game is tennis. Serve up the players, please.
The Aptos Mariners have walked away with the league championship for 4 years running. The secret to their success may be found in this year's team captain, Lisa Gilbert. After 2 years as Aptos' #1 player, Lisa has gained the reputation of a thinking athlete. She dismantles her opponents by capitalizing on their mistakes. Her thoughts aren't always on tennis, though. Lisa has above a 4.0 GPA. According to her coach, Stacy Stone is the pillar of the girls' tennis team at San Lorenzo Valley. Thought to be a picture-perfect tennis player, Stacy has been #1 at SLV for the past 3 years and team captain for the last 2. Watch for this Cougar to be prowling the courts at Cabrillo next year. Keep your eyes on the prize might be the advice of Harbor's Gree Freed Nelson, who is the 2-time SCCAL singles champion as the result of sheer determination and hard work. Unable to qualify for the varsity team in their freshman years, many players give up. Gree just practiced harder. A powerful ground stroker who likes to play deep, Gree is known as the human backstop. Wildcat Katie Corrigan was just the tonic the ailing Watsonville tennis program needed. Spotted in her freshman year as the franchise of the team, Katie has propelled the Wildcats from a record of 0-20 into third place. Watsonville's #1 player for the past 2 seasons, Katie Corrigan. Santa Cruz Cardinal Max Swanger has progressed steadily up the SCCAL ladder. He lost only 2 matches in his sophomore year and went undefeated as a junior when he was named league doubles champion. Over his 3-year varsity career, Max served up 27 victories in 32 matches. He emerged this year as the Cardinals' #1 singles player.
Now for tennis, Katie Corrigan of Watsonville.
I'd just like to thank my family for all of their support, all the coaches that have helped me through my game to improve it, and for all my friends. Thank you.
Bree Freed Nelson of Harvard.
I'd like to thank my friends, family, and coaches for all their support. Thank you.
There's no time limit here, folks. You can tell us anything you want. There's no time limit. We're not in a hurry. Lisa Gilbert of Aptos.
Even though you didn't like it.
I'd like to say thanks to TCI Cablevision for this nice evening. Thanks to my family for all their support. Mr. Jones for all of his advice in English class on strategy, and especially to my coach, Gay Sauer. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Stacy Stone of SLV.
I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my brother, my coach Daisy Martin, TCI Cablevision, and the SLV Boosters Club for making sports possible this year at SLV. Thank you.
And Max Swanger of Santa Cruz. Max Swanger.
Wow, this is great. I really feel honored. Thanks, you guys. I'd like to thank my parents, first off, for coming to all my matches this year. And I'd like to thank my coach, Dennis Mullen, for if it was not for him, I would not have made it. I had quite a low point this season where I was ready to quit, but Dennis brought me through, and I really thank him for that and all the 4 years. Thanks.
Way to stick it out, Max. So what's the most strenuous thing you've ever done or ever do? Maybe go for a run, lift weights, swim some laps, perhaps a triathlon. All right, try this on for size. Jump into the pool, swim back and forth, float around for a little while, swim as fast as you can, stop, throw the ball at the net, play a little catch, swim some more as fast as you can, get tugged under by your friend, swim some more as fast as you can. Welcome to the sport of water polo. You'll see when our honorees come up why water polo players look the way they do.
Jeff Dumars, number 12 for Harbor High, is a strong, physically dominating competitor who plays both ends of the pool, perhaps better than anyone in the league. And it didn't go unnoticed, as this first-team All-Leaguer was named Most Valuable Player of the SCCAL. Jeff will continue to compete next year at West Valley College. Brad Wheeler, number 5, yet another first-team All-League player out of Harbor, was a big question mark when he started water polo. because he had zero aquatic background. But it didn't take him long to develop, as he was named one of the outstanding sophomores in 1990 and eventually rose to the center of the offense, the hole man for the league champion Pirates. He'll take his 4.0 GPA to Princeton next year. Zach Thompson, number 4 in the white for Santa Cruz High, had always been strong on defense, but this season his strength and quickness eventually made him the focal point of the offense, breaking away from defenders to score accurately and often. As a result, this Cardinal speedster was named first team All-SCCAL. Zach Thompson. Danny Arbalez, number 3, another first-team All-Leaguer for Harbor, was outstanding both as a freshman and sophomore and continued to excel as one of the fastest players in the SCCAL. This southpaw made all NorCal thanks mainly to his hard work and his intelligence, which will be challenged next fall at Harvard, where he is expected to make an immediate impact in the pool. Rick Banks, number 10 of Watsonville, a 3-year varsity athlete and first-team All-Leaguer, was the hole man for the Cats, the key position for scoring. And he made the most of it, notching more goals than anyone on the squad. He was chosen by teammates as co-captain, showing great leadership and focus, and was honored as the team's MVP this season. Rick will be going to UCLA in the fall. Seth Wolf, number 9 of Aptos, is a splendid athlete and a coach's dream. The kind of guy that comes for a coach once in a lifetime. As such, he inspired his teammates to reach greatness as well. The Mariners' second leading scorer both his sophomore and junior years, Seth hit pay dirt over 100 times his senior season to lead Aptos and earned first-team All-League honors. Seth Wolf.
First award, Danny Arbalez of Harbor.
All right, I'd like to thank for water polo my coach Mark Garrett for convincing me to go to Harbor my freshman year instead of Santa Cruz. It paid off. Although
look into that.
Zach didn't like it. And all my teammates, Brad, Jeff, and all the other teammates who made us have an excellent season. Thanks.
Rick Banks of Watsonville. Rick Banks.
I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me all through my 4 years, my brother for teaching me everything I know about the game, TCI for this award, and my coach and teammates for putting up with me. Thanks.
Jeff Dumars of Harbor.
I'd like to thank my parents mostly, and then I'd like to thank my coaches, Mark Garrett and Jack DeFore, and I'd like to wish him well and what he's going through right now. Thanks.
Zach Thompson of Santa Cruz.
See if his hair's grown anymore.
All right, I'd like to thank my coaches, Vern Martin and Mike Bennett, my parents, and all my teammates. Dames, you the man. Thanks a lot.
Brad Wheeler of Harbor.
I'd just also like to thank my coaches, Mark Garrett and Jack DeFore, for all their help, and especially, Garrett for getting me into polo since I was never thinking about playing my freshman year. And also my two captains who are up here, Jeff and Dan Arbalez, and also for all the parents and coaches out here who have given athletics in this county so much support. And I think it needs to continue for kids to experience the same joys that I have with sports. Thanks a lot.
And Seth Wolf of Aptos.
I'd first like to thank the Lord God for giving me the opportunities to play sports in high school and making things go smoothly for me. I'd like to thank my parents. I think I'd win contests with them as the best parents around. And water polo is kind of funny. I got into it to get the football coaches off my back because I didn't have a sport that season. And I used it to train for soccer and keep in shape, and it's really turned into probably my favorite hobby and the funnest game I ever played. Thanks again. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
These sports awards are consistently energized by our association with the Spinal Cord Society Mike Leimbach chapter. Mike has generously lent his strength and spirit to these awards. These awards are in turn a benefit for the Spinal Cord Society. This year, Mike has decided to use the preferred medium for part of his involvement. That medium is of course video, so let's go to that video now.
Younger, my life consisted pretty much of going from one sport to the next. And as I got older, I learned more sports through my friends, and that was what I looked forward to every morning when I woke up. My earliest memories were of probably Little League baseball and Pop Warner football, and just how much fun that was. How, waking up in the morning and putting on your uniform and looking in the mirror, making sure everything was right, and hoping there was a few girls in the stands, and just hoping that you did well. That was it's the excitement of it all.
I probably first met Mike when he was 11 in Little League baseball, and he was at that point in time the best player in the league. He really stood out. Skill-wise, but you could see beyond that he had something special. He was just a great person. He was very competitive, just had the will to compete. Didn't matter what it was. He wanted to go out and win, and that was what made him the caliber athlete he was. I've said many times before, I've been fortunate enough to work with some great players. John Orton, who catches for the Angels, Jay Patterson, who the Sentinel named Athlete of the Decade and things like that for the 80s, and Mike was every bit as good as any of them. And barring the injury today, I think we'd all be paying money to watch Mike play right now. I think he was that good.
Running, the next minute I was just laying there and feeling very strange. In 1 second my whole life was turned upside down. 1 minute you're sort of on top of the world with everything to look forward to, and the next minute it was that was all taken from me. I want to play sports again. What was instilled in me when I was younger about the excitement of waking up and thinking about what sport I was going to play that day is still in me. And that hasn't changed. And there's a very good chance that can happen again through the work of the Spinal Cord Society. And so, of course, I want to support that. I'm lucky. I've got it easy compared to many people. I'm healthy, and I have an incredible family and friends, and I'm able to do a lot of things that maybe a lot of people aren't able to do, because there are many people out there with paralysis that suffer pain every day and aren't able to do things. They don't have family, they don't have many friends, and every day is long, and it's painful, and but you don't see that very often. And I think what the work of the Spinal Cord Society does is tell people that paralysis is not something that should be acceptable. It should be every bit as unacceptable as cancer and AIDS, because I want my life back. I think I have the right to have my life back.
Special guest of the Sports Awards, please welcome the man whose unwavering support has been essential to the institution and continuation of local sports being presented on local television in Santa Cruz County. He's TCI Cablevision General Manager Stuart Butler, and with Stuart is Ron Lineback, Mike Lineback's father, and Mike Lineback.
It's truly an honor to be able to be here this evening to participate in this event, specifically in support of Mike and his efforts. I've done this a couple of times in the past, and every time it seems to get more difficult for me. But I find it very, very motivational and very inspirational to see Mike, to listen to Mike talk, and to see the effort he makes. And I'd like to make our small contribution to the Spinal Cord Society in support of their efforts and Mike's efforts in getting him back to playing athletics again. So on behalf of everyone at TCI Cablevision, I present a check in the amount of $2,000 to the Mike Lineback chapter of the Spinal Cord Society.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank TCI Cablevision for this very generous check and for their continued support. The Spinal Cord Society is an organization that is researching a cure to paralysis, which is something that is very important and also very realistic. That may sound like wishful thinking to people who don't know what's going on, but when something of this nature is not available at the time, it automatically becomes wishful thinking. But then when it does become available, it's taken for granted. One day there will be a cure to paralysis, and that day is on the horizon. So I once again would just like to thank TCI Cablevision and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike, for attending tonight, and Ron, Stuart, and Paula Mahoney for putting that video together. Now, if you were on the street entertaining a stranger and you were to tell him what happened this year in a high school volleyball in this league, you'd probably get him reaching for his wallet to go after any wager that you may name. But it did in fact happen. In the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League, the dream season of volleyball, we had a three-way tie for the league title. 2 CCS champions and a runner-up. 2 Northern California champions and a runner-up. 1 state champion and a runner-up. So congratulations to SoCal. You were the grandest
Harbor team
runner-up
captain.
anyone has ever seen. Congratulations to you, Aptos. Your road may have been the toughest of anyone's. And congratulations to Harbor and the many Pirates before you who tried for the ultimate prize. But you this year were Destiny's darlings. And here are the senior leaders of this stupendous, colossal volleyball season.
Harbor team captain and middle blocker Jamie Keith has been named first team All-SCCAL for 3 years running. But that's just the tip of her iceberg of accomplishments. Jamie had a dream season this year, making her presence felt at all the big matches, CCS semis, CCS final, and the state final, where she pulled off an amazing total of 8 solo stuff blocks. That neat trick etched her name in the state final record books. This Pirate has set a course for Reno, accepting a full scholarship from the Wolf Pack. She came to play. Throughout her Harbor career, Michaela Christie has worked hard every day. A Pirate who played best under pressure, Michaela was named first team All-League and first team All-County. She ranks third in California for the most digs in a state final. Some consider Michaela to be an unsung hero, but her considerable skill has not gone unnoticed by college coaches. She'll travel to Colorado Christian College this fall, where she has a full scholarship. SoCal Knight Sophie Howard guided her team to the NorCal Division III title game. A 4-year starter, Sophie has been named All-League twice. This year, she was honored as Co-Player of the Year and First Team All-County. Sophie is weighing her options now as she has invitations from UC Irvine, University of New Orleans, and Montana State. Known as the playmaker of the state champions and nation's 24th ranked team, Harbor's Thera Akaza was voted Co-Player of the Year by the coaches and Player of the Year by the Sentinel. This very focused player has great communication skills on the court, which will stand her in good stead when she joins her new teammates at Santa Clara. SoCal's leading blocker, Paige Kruger, is well known for her dominating performance at the net. She was named first team All-County and has twice been an All-League pick. A clutch player, Paige was a key element in SoCal's ascent to third in the state. Look for Paige next year at Cabrillo. SCCAL Co-Player of the Year, Trisha Grizich, is an outside hitter who helped lead the Mariners to the Division III NorCal title and the state championship game. Trisha was the relay between the coach and the court. All communication passed through her. A tough job, which she handled with ease. Her teammates have honored Trisha with the Clutch Player of the Year award.
For volleyball, Michaela Christie of Harbor. And Michaela. Trisha Grizich of Bapta.
Come on up.
Trisha.
I'd like to thank my family, friends, and teammates for their support, and my coach, Krista Cook, for pushing me to work really hard. Thanks.
Sophie Howard of SoCal.
I would like to thank the TCI Cablevision and the Santa Cruz Sentinel also, because it is really great to watch yourself on TV or read your name in the newspaper. It makes it really exciting. Also my coaches and my parents, my sisters, my chiropractor, Dr. Lawrence Calderon. He kept me in one piece. Thanks.
Thank you, Sophie. Gerard Akaza of Harbor.
I'd really like to thank TCI Cablevision for this special award.
I'd also like to thank my parents and my family for being such a great support system this year. I'd like to thank my friends, and I'd like to think of all Harbor High School for their support also. I'd like to thank this year's team for staying together and winning the state championship, and I'd like to thank all my coaches in the past, especially Jim Riley, for staying with me since the 5th grade. Thank you very much.
Jamie Keith of Harvard.
First, I'd like to thank my parents for their love and support. I'd like to thank my coaches, Jim Riley and Scott Nakamoto. Thanks, TCI. Thank you, Harbor fans. You guys were great. And to my team, you guys are the best. Thanks a lot.
Paige Kruger of SoCal.
First of all, I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me through all the years that I played volleyball, and they've been there for everything. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank TCI Cablevision for this great award. It's a great honor. And I'd like to thank God, too, because I turned to him a lot this season. It was a long season. It was hard. It was hard taking a lot of the hardships, but it was great. And I'd like to thank my coaches and my teammates. You guys are great. Thank you.
One more time for volleyball. A state champion, 2 CCS champions, a state runner-up. Attention colleges, employers, investors, or anyone looking for someone who knows how to persevere. I nominate our awardees for cross country.
Coming back from an injury that caused him to miss the entire 91 season, Jeff Brown was SoCal's dark horse this year. To everyone's surprise, the tenacious athlete made it to the winner's circle as the SCCAL individual champion. Not one to rest on his laurels, Jeff headed for CCS, where he placed second, qualifying him to compete at the state championship meet. Jeff ends his high school career ranked 31st in California. It was a year of new experiences for Condor Derek Layton. After achieving a personal best in the CCS finals, he had the distinction of being the first runner to represent North Monterey County at the state meet. He crossed the Fresno finish line among the top 5th of the Golden State's finest. When Liz Leewood won the Division IV CCS individual title as a sophomore, coaches caught a glimpse of the future. Liz set the pace this year, too, leading Aptos to the SCCAL championship and the CCS title. Individually, the Fleet Mariner knocked a half minute off her personal best to place second at CCS. Then it was off to the hills and dales of Fresno for the state meet, where she finished 4th overall. Without a backward glance, Liz trotted on to the Kinney Western Regional Championship, placing 15th in the event, which hosts runners from 13 states. The team is only as good as your 5th runner. So say the coaches at Aptos. This year, that pivotal position was held by Hillary Ferreira. Hillary placed 6th at the SCCAL final, helping Aptos to the team title. At CCS, she mustered enough speed in the last 25 yards to pass 2 runners and seal Aptos' 2nd CCS team championship. The Clutch Mariner will cruise off to San Diego State in the fall.
Jeff Brown from SoCal.
I've seen him look better. So you want to race?
Yeah. All right. I'd like to thank my mom and my dad for the support and for putting up with all my crankiness before my races. I'd like to thank my coach, Mark McConnell, and a very special thanks to my teammate, Liam Jones, for without him pushing me through workouts and races, I don't think I could have gone as far as I did. Thank you.
Hillary Ferreira of Aptos. Hillary Ferreira.
First of all, I'd like to thank my coach, Bill Hotchkiss, for teaching me the important philosophy of over-distance training, which has really helped me to improve. And I'd like to thank my best friends and teammates, Liz, Lisa, Nicole, and Megan, for all the good times out on the trails. And I'd like to thank my parents for putting up with my bad moods after practice. And TCI.
Liz Lee Wood of Aptos.
I want to thank Nike for their great shoes, and everyone at Capitola Junior Lifeguards, because that's the best program, and everyone at Northwind Promotions, and my dad for letting me out of Catholic school, and all my teammates. Thank you.
Well, what a terrific year we had in basketball this season. 31 wins in a row for the Harbor boys. And what about the game? How about the Twilight Zone game between Harbor and Santa Cruz? No one knew when to sing at the end of that one at all. On the other hand, we had the girls of Harbor High winning yet another league championship, yet another Central Coast Section championship. And that, of course, highlighted by the tremendous 5-game series, the Harbor Pirates battling it out with the Santa Cruz girls. Let's take a look with our basketball winners.
From Monte Vista, he's Chuck Jones, the scoring machine. He led the county as a junior with 20 points a game, and this year led the Mustangs' respectable entry into the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League with 17.5 points a game. Banged big inside all year, grabbing 6.5 rebounds per outing, and with a rare combination of size and agility, is like a high school Charles Barkley. Chuck Jones of Monte Vista. Chris Shoemaker of Harbor, the Pirates' deck cannon. Loved to fire from range. With 46 three-pointers, he was the Pirates' outside attack. His guard spot was also a port of entry to the big inside attack. He finished second on the team in assists. His leaping and scoring at 12 points per game made him all Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League. The Shoe. Will Bland, a man for all reasons at Aptos this year, a slashing, penetrating blur of a basketball player who could dominate a game or flip it around in an instant with a big steal or power drive to the hole. Was the Mariners' captain and superb as a defender on the wing. Mariner Will Bland. Obie Howe, the Soquel center, was the tower of strength for his young team to rally round. Was second in the league in rebounding with 10 per game, and was the building down on the blocks, featuring steady scoring and swatted away shots. Local fans will have an additional opportunity to enjoy this exemplary player next year at Cabrillo. And Howe. Chad Schumacher, the quiet condor. With him, numbers have more worth than words. And his worth is great indeed. He averaged 15 points a game both his junior and senior years while leading North Monterey County, the leading offensive team in the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League. The Condors are leaving the league, but they will be remembered most for bringing us such great athletes as Chad Schumacher. From the Santa Cruz Cardinals comes the man who came to play every day, every way. He's Aaron Woliczko, first-team All-League All-Star, both his junior and senior years. Led the Cardinals in scoring, led the Cardinals in rebounding, led the league in three-pointers. Played forward, but thought like a point guard. And the only thing tougher than Aaron Woliczko is how to spell his name. Sam Crossan has a character to match his game. Co-MVP of the league as a junior, he sublimated himself in the Harbor Pirate offense, eschewing potentially big numbers for the good of the team and a different focus. Still, he averaged 12 points and 8 rebounds and made all-county again. And basketball is not even his best sport. It's volleyball. On scholarship at UOP. Next for Sam Crossan. Angie Mahorik, member of champions. State in volleyball, CCS in basketball. An artist in the paint, she created big opportunities for the Harbor Pirates with her consistent defense and rebounding. She got better and better as the season got more and more intense. A 4-point-plus student, Angie is off to Puget Sound in the fall. Christine, no one can run the court like she can. Thompson. This Santa Cruz Cardinal can go inside, outside, and upside. A jumper with the best, she peaked at playoff times, rising to the occasion in one big game after another. On defense, assign her the quickest or the tallest. Christine Thompson can do it all. Cardinal Kenna Karst, first team All-League and All-County, averaged 12 points a game with a high of 24. A mongoose on defense, she froze her opponents, resulting in steal after steal, sometimes as many as 10 or 11 in a single game. And when she got it, she made the most of it, as the point guard going the other way. Local basketball fans will miss the magic hands of Kenna Karst. Jen Poley of Soquel led the Knights in scoring, rebounding, blocks, and steals. Solid on defense, she was getting better at it every day. Outsized often at center, rarely outplayed. A natural, the best athlete her coach has ever coached. Any questions? Ask anyone who played against Jen Poley. Faith Hasty of Santa Cruz, and hasty I must be just to record her honors here. Most valuable player of the league, first team All-County, All-County Senior of the Year, All-League all 4 years, led the Cardinals in points with 14 and rebounds with 10. Outside, inside, never a downside. Led the Cardinals to League Co-Championship and the semis of the CCS. You leave me breathless, Faith Hasty.
Big group. Let's start with Will Bland of Aptos. How are you here, Will?
Come on, Will. It's like driving the lane. I'd just like to start off thanking my family, my grandma, my uncle. Thanks for teaching me. Thank God. Thank both of my coaches, James, Coach Gruber. I love you guys back there. Thanks.
Sam Crossan of Harbor. Sam Crossan.
First off, I'd like to thank TCI for this award, and I'd like to also accept this award on behalf of Rob Pifferini, who through a lot of hard work and dedication really helped our team succeed this year. I'd like to thank also my parents, my dad and both my moms, for always being in every game for me and all the films that my mom used up. Mike Gruber for giving me a chance as a freshman to play on the varsity level, as well as all the fans at all the Harbor Santa Cruz games during the last couple of years. I hope that rivalry continues during the next few years as well. And I'd just like to thank the Pifferini family for all the food that I've always eaten at their house, as well as the Shoemaker family. Thanks a lot.
Faith Hasty of Santa Cruz.
I'm fortunate to thank a lot of people tonight. First, I'd like to thank Fleming Physical Therapy, because I basically lived there, and they were really cool about it and getting me back to health. Second group of people I'd like to thank is my family. They were at all my games. They were really supportive of me. My mom for filling out all the applications and all the college questionnaires and all that, which was hard for her to do, but she did it for me because I wouldn't have done it. So next I'd like to thank all the coaches out there who helped me. Fred Pfeiffer, Pete Pappas, Pete Newell, who worked with me on the mental side as well as the physical side of basketball. John Wilson. Most time coaches have one or two players that they coach who gripe about them and they don't like them, but there was never anyone on our team that didn't like John. The only thing you could really cap on him about is his fashion sense, which he has none of. So, I don't know. But I guess you can laugh at him and that makes you closer. So the last person I'd like to thank is
someone I regret can't be here. I don't know. I can't tell him right now, but Jack Alzina, thanks.
Obi Howe of SoCal.
First, I'd like to thank my mom for all the support she's given me in the years, and I'd also like to thank my coach, Dave Spencer, for giving me 2 fun years of varsity. And I'd like to thank TCI Cablevision for this award, and most of all, I'd like to thank my teammates for just having a fun year. Thanks.
Thank you, Obi. Chuck Jones of Monte Vista.
Whoa. First of all, I'd like to thank God for giving me the talent, because, He's the one that gives it to us, and I'd like to thank Him for giving me a family that loves God also. And I'd just like to thank my family, my aunt and uncle, for putting me through school and pushing me hard so I can work hard and be up here to get this. And I'd like to thank my brother, because he raised me, for bringing me up all throughout my years, and I have to tell the truth for him today, for beating me all the time in basketball and making me better. And just to, TCI? TCI for this award, so thanks.
He's a great example of why we're so happy to have Monte Vista in the league with us now. Kenna Karst of Santa Cruz.
I'd like to thank TCI for this award, and to John Wilson. He could always make our team laugh. It was usually how he dressed, like Faith said. And to Jack, I'll always remember you, and especially to my parents for all they did for me. I never would have been here today if it wasn't for them. Thank you.
From CCS champion Harbor team, Angie Mahoric.
Hi, I'd like to thank, first of all my coaches in every sport, all my teammates. It was really fun with all you guys. Everyone in the SCCAL, because it's been a great experience. TCI for all the great sports coverage and this great night. And everyone throughout the league, all the schools, because I just feel a lot of support and it gives a lot of confidence going off into the world. Thanks.
Jen Foley of SoCal.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank TCI Cable for the award, and Tim Jarnigan, Paige Kruger, and Stephanie Vaccaro. I wouldn't have made it through the season without you guys. And last, my parents for supporting me through all the basketball games. Thanks.
Chad Schumacher of North Monterey County.
First, I'd like to thank my parents for all their support, my brother for always making me more competitive, and my coach for all the encouragement he gave me, and TCI for honoring me here tonight. Thank you.
Chris Shoemaker of Harbor.
I would like to thank Coach Gruber and also Rod Fleming, my baseball coach, for keeping me together during the basketball season as well as the baseball season. I'd like to thank all the guys that I got a chance to play with over the last 4 years for making this the best time in my life. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my family, my whole family, but especially my parents, for supporting me positively, not only with basketball, but with everything I've ever been interested in. Thanks.
Christina Thompson of Santa Cruz.
I'm really nervous right now because I thought I was going to fall when I came up. But first of all, I'd like to thank God for this award because without him it would not be possible. I'd like to thank my coach, John Wilson, for being such a fun coach and making our season good. I'd like to thank all the real Santa Cruz basketball fans that stuck with us throughout the whole season. I'd like to thank TCI Cablevision, and I'd like to dedicate this award to my coach, John Wilson, and the late Jack Alzina for being such great coaches.
And Aaron Woliczko of Santa Cruz.
First of all, I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank all my coaches throughout the years. And I got one thing to say. In that Twilight Zone game, Casey Kaiser beat the buzzer and time ran out, we won. Thanks.
And if anybody mispronounces TCI, again, our general manager, Stuart Butterfuco, is going to, Stuart Butler is going to get real angry. So, sorry, Stu. All right, with the World Cup happening in America, soccer is finally gaining the prominence here that it's long enjoyed in the rest of the world. And we have awardees in soccer here tonight that we consider world class.
Joe Holbert, number 8 of Socal High, put the rest of the league on notice her sophomore year when she became one of the SCCAL's most prolific scorers, helping to guide the Knights to the league title and into the CCS semis. A positive attitude and great work ethic made Joe a natural team leader through thick and thin. A big-time scorer, Joe Holbert. Gina Caceres, number 14, the emotional and spirited catalyst of the Aptos Mariners. Combined intense desire, good ball handling skills, and a great shot. And it's no wonder that Gina enjoyed 3 years on the varsity, helped the Mariners to a league title as a junior, and earned first-team All-League honors her senior year. Gina Caceres of Aptos High. Catchphrase for Aptos High School's Kim Ebert, the buck stops here. This 2-year All-League goalie was paramount to the Mariners' league title her junior year. Her skill, size, and mobility in front of the net has certainly caught the eye of those in the know. Kim's one of only 20 goalies in the nation invited to a special goalie clinic this summer. The utility player of the Aptos Mariners, Jennifer Crouch, number 12. In the course of any game, Jennifer usually winds up playing every position on the field but goalie. With a superior knowledge of the game, Jennifer's a double threat to opponents. Not only one of the team's best offensive forces, but at the same time the best defensive player as well. Goalies have it easy at San Lorenzo Valley High. Sweeper James Van Duzen, number 13, effectively snuffs out any flicker of an offensive attack well before a shot on goal. A total player, this Cougar's thoughts are on more than defense. He works to set up the offensive plays as well and has even scored a goal. Playing hurt, playing well, and playing both ends of the field, it's no wonder James Van Duzen is SLV's team captain. Striker Felipe Cruz, number 6, is Santa Cruz's leading scorer. In fact, he's one of the top scorers in the league. A determined player who loves soccer, this tough Cardinal never missed a game, answering the bell every time out. His streak will continue next season at Cabrillo. Playing extremely competitive soccer since the age of 14, it's no wonder that Seth Wolf, number 10 of Aptos High, has been one of the league's premier players from the time he stepped onto the varsity field as a freshman. Captain of the team the last 2 years, Seth was consistently among the Mariners' leaders in scoring and assists. The man who led by example, Seth is still deciding between collegiate soccer or a year's tour of German competition. Three-year varsity letterman Ernesto Flores, number 20, was the defensive force of the league champion Watsonville Wildcats. Always at the right place at the right time, Ernesto is a smart player and team leader who will be found playing for Cabrillo in the fall. As number 19, Greg Bruland went, so went the Santa Cruz Cardinals. Liked and respected by coaches and players alike, Greg was the lifeblood of the team. As a stopper, he was considered the most dominant player in the league when it came to skying for head balls. He used his head for a lot more than controlling soccer balls, though. Greg leaves Santa Cruz with a 4.0 grade point average. Monte Vista goalie Jason Christian blocked 285 shots in 20 games. That's just about 145 more than the average goalie. Needless to say, this Mustang is a standout. His coaches feel he's the most improved player in the league. Other coaches have taken notice as well. Jason was voted first team All-SCCAL.
Greg Bruland of Santa Cruz for soccer.
I'd like to start out by thanking my parents and my sister, who were always very supportive of me, came to all my games and cheered me on. I'd also like to thank God and all my teammates for the fun games and practices and fun times. I'd like to thank all my coaches, Wilma Field, Jorge Sierra, Sean Sullivan, and especially my coach this year, Sergio Sierra, who really inspired me to do my best, the best that I could this season. Thanks.
Gina Caceres of Aptos.
I would like to first of all thank my coaches Bob McCready and my other coach Mark Dorfman. I'd also like to thank my dad Ernesto and TCI and there's one more person. Oh, my physical trainer Diane Roberts. Thank you.
Jennifer Crouch of Aptos.
First of all, I'd like to thank my parents and my sister Lisa and my brother Brian for all their support throughout the past 8 years I've been playing soccer. And I'd like to thank all my coaches over the past 8 years, especially Jose Sierra, Bob McCready, and most especially Khalid, because he pushed me farther than any of my other coaches, and I really appreciate all of his friendship and support. Thank you.
Jason Christian of Monte Vista.
I'd like to start off for thanking God for this award. Without this year, I would not have been able to get through with a lot of stuff. I want to thank my parents for helping me and putting up with my attitude when we lost games and coming home being a grump. I want to give a special thanks to my friend Nicole Howard back at home for being with me, for being able to talk to me on the phone and get me in a good mood. And I want to thank my two coaches, Mike Rebus and Paul Lyons, for pushing me and giving me the lectures that I needed when my attitude was worst. Thank you.
Kim Ebert of Aptos.
First of all, I'd like to thank my parents and my boyfriend for all the support they've given me. My coach, Bob McCready, for putting up with me for the last 4 years. I've kind of been a smart mouth to him, so thanks.
James Van Dusen of SLV.
I'd just like to thank my dad and my mom for always being there. I've had some hard times through soccer, and they've helped me out a lot. I'd like to thank my coach, Lee Overbeck, for putting up with me, because I'm not the easiest person to put up with all the time. I'd like to thank my orthopedic surgeon, Mark Wayner, because without him, this wouldn't be possible. And I'd like to thank the SLV Boosters Club for making sports possible at SLV. Thanks a lot.
And Sepp Wolf of Aptos.
First of all, I'd like to thank the rest of the players in the league this year for not hurting me too bad my senior year. And to Mike Leinbach, you're in our prayers, and keep up the will. And thanks again to my mom and dad, and come check out World Cup '94. God bless.
There are two distinct kinds of wrestling. The primping and posturing kind, 90% talk, 10% contact. And the full energy head-on kind, all contact, little talk. High school wrestling is a terrific example of the second kind. A very daring sport. Here are the best of the seniors who dared to compete in wrestling this year.
Joey Smith, a 145-pounder from Aptos here in blue, was league champion 2 years in a row and placed second this year at CCS, continuing on to battle at state, finishing with a 39-6 record. This 4-year varsity athlete grappled farther at the state meet than any other wrestler this year from the SCCAL. Joey has plans to wrestle for the Beavers of Oregon State in the fall. Miguel Ortiz, here in blue, grappled for Aptos at 160 pounds, and this year was the SCCAL champion. He placed second at CCS to earn a berth at state and was showing strong there until a scoring error truncated his opportunity. Nonetheless, this fine athlete took first place at the prestigious Jim Root tournament, where he was named the outstanding wrestler. Miguel is set to attend Cabrillo College next year. North Monterey County's Corey Glenn, here in Condor Silver and Black, is a bit light for a heavyweight, but as an excellent athlete, he proved he could power with the big dogs. A knee injury caused him to miss his entire season this year, but he showed up for the league final and won it, then placed fourth at CCS to advance to state, completing a remarkable comeback in grand fashion. Corey may go on to wrestle at Gavilan or perhaps join the military. Junior Ray Ray, here in the yellow and black, competed on the varsity squad all 4 years for the powerful Watsonville Wildcats. He was a major contributor on 3 league championships and is a 2-time SCCAL champ in the 119-pound weight class, topping his senior year by decisively winning his division at CCS. Junior won't be hitting the mats at college, but as an excellent student, he will be hitting the books at San Diego State.
So I'd say Monte Vista's winning the sound.
It's close. The county.
Monte Vista, North
Monterey County. Real close.
Vista's
real close.
In the driver's seat right now.
Santa Cruz making a move. Harbor guys won't do it. I know that. I'll tell you that right now. Corey Glenn of North Monterey County.
Well, not here.
They'll cheer for him anyway. They'll love you. Miguel Ortiz of Aptos.
I just like to thank my parents, my coaches, Stoney and Bill, and all my teammates for helping me through the season. Thanks.
And Junior Ray Ray of Watsonville.
I would like to thank my coaches, Gus Paz and Gary Garcia, for helping me strive towards my goals, and for not only being my coaches but my friends. I'd like to thank my dad, family, and friends, and especially my mom for their support. Thanks.
The softball championship this year in the Santa Cruz Coast Athletic League was won by the Watsonville Wildcats. So I'd throw that in there for all the help Brad Hubbard gives to me every year for these. And again, the league added to its reputation of producing so many great players. We'll see some of them here as we look at the top crop of '93.
Move over, Ricky Henderson. Kenna Karst of Santa Cruz is serving notice that she, too, is a superb base thief, stealing 21 bases this year to lead the league. Kenna can turn a double out of a single in the blink of an eye. A dynamite player, Karst made first team SCCAL with a batting average of .429. A great arm and a slick glove made Kenna a top defensive player. A Cardinal who was born to run, Kenna Karst. Nicole Roberts of San Lorenzo Valley has been described as a superb athlete, a great athlete. Whatever adjective you use, Roberts is a fighter, coming back from reconstructive knee surgery to be an all-league catcher with a batting average of .327. Next year, we'll find this Lady Cougar at Fresno State, where she plans to study physical therapy. The comeback kid, Nicole Roberts. Jenny Manasco of Monte Vista Christian is a hitting machine. Over the past 3 seasons, Jenny has posted a batting average of .636, .520, and .377. This first-team SCCAL selection is the perfect definition of a versatile player. Jenny, who played primarily second base, could also move over to third and go behind the plate. The heart of the Mustangs, Jenny Manasco. Allie Haas of San Lorenzo Valley is the ace in the Cougars' softball hand. Allie made the 1993 All-League team as a pitcher and designated hitter. At the plate, Allie had a .380 batting average and led San Lorenzo Valley with 34 hits and 7 doubles. This 3-year varsity player has her sights set on Chico State, where she plans to play softball. The Cougars' ace pitcher, Allie Haas. One of the main reasons the Watsonville Wildcats advanced deep into the CCS playoffs was Punkin Guerra. This year's Guerra was picked as the all-league shortstop, anchoring the middle of the Lady Wildcats defense. At the plate, Punkin was a clutch hitter, leading the team in RBIs and driving in the big runs in the big games. A solid all-around performer, Punkin Guerra. Jessica Lang of Santa Cruz was this year's SCCAL Player of the Year. This 4-year varsity player guarded third base for the Cardinals, stopping everything hit in her direction. One of the top softball players to come out of Santa Cruz, this talented Cardinal had 3 great seasons at the plate with averages of .410, .514, and .406. This young Cardinal will be flying to the Big Ten next year on an athletic scholarship to Michigan. Ask any coach who's on third, and they'll say Jessica Tadman of North Monterey County. Jessica loves the hot corner where she vacuums up hot shots and uses her cannon arm to throw the hitters out. Tadman was a tough out as a hitter with a .341 batting average, 5 triples, and 16 stolen bases. The Condors answer to Carney Lansford, Jessica Tadman.
Let's start with Punkin Guerra of Watsonville.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. It's been pretty hard these past few years, and I had to come to Him a few times. I'd like to thank my mom for always being there, and my uncle for getting me started, my sister, my father, my second family, the Langs, Jessica Lang for getting me started again playing softball, and just thank Brenda Hunrick for working with me all those times when I was just getting started, and Brad Hubbard for being calm and cool and collected, not like that Los Gatos coach, and go Cats.
Allie Haas of SLV.
I'd like to thank my coaches and my teammates for all the fun. I'd like to thank my parents and my brother for all the support, and Mr. Richards, my pitching coach. Thank you.
Kenna Karst of Santa Cruz.
I'd like to thank Mr. Miguel for a fun and rewarding season, and to Glenn, who gave me the start in Little League, and for Ryan for all of his support. Thanks.
Jessica Lang of Santa Cruz.
I'd like to thank my parents and my brother for always including me in the neighborhood games when I was young. To my coach, Vic Miguel, who got me actually really to focus in softball and got me where I am today, going off to Michigan next year. And I'd like to dedicate my next 4 years to Jack Alzina while I'm at Michigan. And I'd like to thank Punk and Guerra for putting up with me all last summer. Thanks.
Jenny Manasco of Monte Vista.
I would like to thank God for giving me the ability to play softball, for my mom for putting up with all the late nights of playing softball and coming home late and eating all the food I could. I'd like to thank my coach, Elaine Price, for all the extra time she put in, hitting and fielding, because I couldn't get enough. And I would like to thank my best friends for putting up with my attitude for when I was in a bad mood, and then for getting me in a good mood when I needed it. Thanks.
From SLD, Nicole Roberts.
First off, I'd like to thank my parents for always coming to all my games and supporting me, and my brother for, always being there for me. And I'd like to thank the SLV Booster Club for making sports possible this year, and especially my orthopedic surgeon for putting my knee back together, and my physical therapist for putting up with my attitude. And I'd also like to thank my coach, Mark Corvelli, for always being there and with all the support. Thank you.
Jessica Tadman of North Monterey County.
I'd like to thank my coach, Al Gardner, and Ken Gardner, and especially thank Ken for all the Taco Bell. And I'd like to thank my parents for all the support and all the rides, and all the mothers, my teammates' mothers, and my teammates, and especially my first baseman. Thank you.
In baseball '93, the SoCal Knights won the championship, and we're joined by Santa Cruz and San Lorenzo Valley in the CCS playoffs. And that turnaround up the valley at SLV was testimony extraordinaire to the tenacity of the players and a tribute to the resilience of youth. Again, the league's baseball fields were full of very accomplished baseball players. This year's winners, please.
Mr. Offense, David Ariano, ran away with the Triple Crown, leading the league in home runs, RBIs, and batting average. Sparks flew off the bat of this one-man wrecking crew from Watsonville. Maybe the best natural hitter in the area. David served notice of his hitting skills when, as a sophomore, he led the league in every offensive category. David Ariano, the Big Cat of Watsonville. Trevor Martin of Soquel was a magician at shortstop and third base, making the tough plays look easy. Martin could make any ball hit to him disappear into his glove and reappear into the first baseman. Trevor also pulled his sorcery at the plate and on the mound, where he posted 5 wins. Soquel's Blue Knight, Trevor Martin. Chris Crawford of Santa Cruz posted a record of 20 wins and 5 losses during the past 2 seasons. His junior year, he led the Cardinals to the CCS Finals and was the FCCAL Pitcher of the Year.